you go.
Great.
Where you stay?
Look
over here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now I'll call to order the regular school board meeting of Independent School District number 544. First item of business then is to establish our quorum.
Mr. Hermes?
Present?
Matt Lemke? Here. Steve Bigasaw?
Here.
Melanie, excuse me, where am I at? Natalie Knudsen?
Here.
And Melanie Cole?
Here.
And Blaine Danielson? Here. We have a quorum.
Very good, thank you. We have a couple of acknowledgements this morning. I'd like to thank the American Legion. Oh yeah, I was just getting going. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? It's got one modification from what was emailed, so.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the agenda? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. All right, the agenda is approved, and then we'll continue on with our acknowledgements, which is a thank you to the American Legion Post 30 for their $200 donation toward the Fergus Falls High School band trip. And we have a secondary acknowledgements for Blaine Danielson and Stephen Bigasaw, who have completed their Minnesota School Board Association training. There's a series of leadership workshops, 1, 2, and 3, kind of gives you the fundamentals of being a board member, and our 2 board members have completed this, and so I'd like to acknowledge and thank you for doing that. And I have certificates for both of you, ta-da, and I'll distribute those after the meeting.
Put it on the fridge.
All right, very good. Thank you. And moving on, we'll do reports from our elementary principals, beginning with Scott Colbeck from Adams and McKinley schools.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get in, you know.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So 2 weeks ago, I think when I stood before you, we were talking about adding a 9th kindergarten teacher at McKinley, and wanted to again thank you for giving us that 9th teacher. We had a teacher in place 2 days after our meeting, so I think hired, offered, and somebody accepted on the 16th of August. When I was talking to you 2 weeks ago, the number was at 188, and today we sit at 195. So we did jump 7 more in the past couple weeks, and I think we'll get a few more here this week as well. But we're sitting at 21 and 22 right now in each kindergarten classroom, so I think we're just set for a really good year at McKinley. At the end of May, we were sitting at 166, so just like the numbers have shown in the past, we jumped, well, right now we've jumped 29 since the end of May, so from 166 to 195. Also, since I saw you last, we were able to hire a Title I para at Adams School. Jen Jensen is her name. We're excited about adding her to our staff at Adams School. Last night when I was just reviewing a few things, I think the theme for this year might be lots of change, or the year of change. I have 11 probationary teachers between McKinley and Adams School, which means I'll be making many classroom visits this year. I did the math last night, and I think I have 43 formal observations to do some evaluations. So that's always an enjoyable part of the job, to get in and watch our teachers teach our students. I just wanted to compliment our teachers. They've been back in their classrooms here for weeks, coming and going. There's probably not a teacher that I haven't seen. So they're just putting in a tremendous amount of time getting their classrooms ready. Of course, they start back full-time today. Also, our building custodians have done an outstanding job this summer. We have 4 of them, 2 at McKinley, 2 at Adams. They were the beneficiaries of not having any large construction projects going on in the schools this summer between those 2 buildings, which then allows them just to get way out ahead of the game, and our buildings are really, really looking sharp. And then I wanted to recognize and thank our secretaries, of course, Cindy Stafford at Adams. She's been there a while, very efficient. And then our new secretary, Michelle Carlson, she's just doing a great job at McKinley. It's been a busy couple weeks, of course, and we're all learning our new student management system, Synergy. But we did get our back-to-school letters in the mail last, I think, Thursday, so parents, at least from McKinley and Adams, started receiving those on Friday or Saturday. I'm also happy to report that we have a Minnesota Reading Corps literacy tutor, not only at Adams School, but also at McKinley School. Maybe when I talked to you last, we had a literacy tutor at McKinley, but we hadn't filled the position at Adams yet. So we do have that position filled as well. We still have room for one more literacy tutor at McKinley, and we'll keep looking. We thought we had that second person, in fact, 2 different times. Both times they were offered and turned us down. The positions they're not our employees, they're an employee of Minnesota Reading Corps, and the positions don't come with a whole lot of pay. If you think of it as AmeriCorps, so Minnesota Reading Corps is under the umbrella of AmeriCorps. If you think of that as AmeriCorps is kind of like the domestic version of Peace Corps. So these people are really serving, and they earn a little bit of a stipend and then an education award. So when the folks are turning these positions down, it's really not due to the fact that they don't want to be there. It's just financially they have a hard time making it work. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention that there's some road construction going on around Adams School right now. We're just going to hope that that won't hinder us too much as we start the year. I have spoken with the on-site construction rep, and he knows of our busy night here coming up Wednesday night for open house. And he's also aware of the busy times of the day around Adams School from about 7:45 a.m. to 8:30. And then in the afternoon from about 2:50 p.m. to 3:20. So they assure us that it's going to work and that they won't have anything going on during those times. I've also been in contact with the bus company. I think the bus company has also talked with a few people as well. So we're just hoping for a smooth start to the year. I know there'll be some road construction. It's a mill and overlay project on 3 sides of Adams School, also down the street of Bancroft, and then some of the side streets that shoot off of Bancroft. So, of course, Bancroft is our busiest street. That's our loading zone. That's our bus zone. That's where parents drop off as well. So, but we just know when the project is done, it's going to be really nice and we're going to enjoy it. So, with that, I'll entertain any questions the board may have.
Scott, go ahead. Any time frame? Did they give you the time frame as far as when they think they might have it all wrapped up on the construction?
There's like 3 different phases. I mean, so right now what they're doing is they're chopping up some of the curb and gutter on the corners and putting some handicapped accessible. So they gotta get that done first, and then they start on the actual roads. I think it's one of those things where they'll strip the road, but it's still it's still drivable. It'll just be a little bit awkward for a little while. I've been pleased to see them. They actually started the curb and gutter work on the corners around the Adams School building. They hit that first before they start moving west.
All right. Any other questions for Principal Colbeck? All right, thank you. Principal Lund.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'm glad to say the Cleveland buildings, Cleveland Elementary Building and the Education Wing at Prairie Wetlands Learning Center are shiny and looking great and ready to welcome back staff and students. So thank you to the diligent work of our custodians that oversee these sites, Brett Duno and Al Friedrich at Cleveland. You do an outstanding job of kind of planning their cleaning and maintenance, summer maintenance around activities and summer programming that take place, and they've done a great job there. Karen Becker is our district custodian who tends to the classroom areas at Prairie Wetlands Learning Center, and we met out there a couple weeks ago and just walked through some tasks that needed to be done, and they're already done and ready for the school year to begin. So big thank you to those folks. And also, like Mr. Colbeck mentioned, our building secretaries have had a couple busy weeks here. receiving freight and distributing curriculum, answering questions of the teachers and supplies, and of course those back-to-school mailings too. So big thank you to Vicki Krauser and Molly Danielson who work at Cleveland. They've done an outstanding job, and we're pleased too that our back-to-school mailings got in the mail last Friday. So families should have received them Saturday or today. Our staff at Cleveland, we're anxiously, we're glad to welcome new teachers. We have 3 new staff in 3rd grade, 2 new staff in 4th grade, and 1 new special ed teacher. Also, we have Taylor Norberg, our new ESL teacher, will be spending quite a bit of time at Cleveland this year. These last couple of weeks, well, beginning of last spring, and these last couple of weeks, our teacher mentor program has really shown us the importance of what you guys have decided to implement in our district, and it's really given those new teachers and veteran teachers those important times to connect, to get to know each other, to provide that support, and then also planning time. They've fully utilized that time to their advantage and our students' advantage. So thank you very much for supporting that mentor program. It's already proving to be effective. And then student enrollment at Cleveland. Our 3rd and 4th grade enrollment has remained steady. We've had some transfers out, and we're welcoming some new enrollments to the district. In 3rd grade, our number today is 201 students. So over the 8 sections, each of our classrooms is at 25 or maybe 26 students. And in 4th grade, there are 195 students enrolled. So there's about 24 or 25 students per section there. So Cleveland will see just under 400 students walking through the door the first day of school. And one thing to kind of remind us, in 4th grade, students and their families have that opportunity to indicate their preference for attending Prairie Science class or not. This year, there were 140 students who said, yes, I'd be interested in going and being part of the Prairie Science experience. 47 students said, nope, I'd rather stay traditional, and 6 said either way is just fine with us. So when you work through the numbers, there are 40 students who indicated a preference that will need to wait to have that experience as a 5th grader. And so those students in 4th grade who aren't attending Prairie this year will have preferential placement in one of those sections for their 5th grade school year. And again, they'll have that opportunity next spring to once again indicate if they're interested in that or not. And then lastly, I just really wanted to kind of give a shout out to our outstanding tech department. Our the technology department and staff have been working diligently behind the scenes, involved with some of the synergy training, helping all of us figure that out. They fielded our calls as well as the calls from teachers who have been back. They prepare our computer labs. They've reconfigured some computer labs this year, touched on all of our updated tech needs, and they just do a really a great job too of providing information to teachers. Here's a new tech tool to try, here's a site that might be helpful, and so we're getting their input kind of on a weekly basis, and that's really, really great. So I just wanted to recognize those folks because they are truly working very, very hard behind the scenes, and we're all benefiting from that. So, and I guess I was doing kind of counting up how many evaluations I'm going to get to participate in this year too. And at Cleveland, we have 9 probationary staff members, who will have three observations done, and 8 other teachers who are due for principal review on that 3-year cycle. So I'll be spending lots of time in classrooms as well, observing teachers and student learning and stuff. And on that, any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Principal Mon?
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, like other principals mentioned here, workshop week starts today. But as they also mentioned, that doesn't mean that we haven't seen staff members around here. They have been in fast and furious for basically the whole month of August, unless we put up the caution tape that couldn't get them down the hallways because of some floor waxing. But it's just been great to see everybody back. And of course, as you recall, we had a lot of moves around here for this coming school year. We were looking at moving every classroom in grades 5, 6, 7, and 8 to some place as a different location. And honestly, those rooms are looking fantastic. We probably have a couple cork bulletin boards that are still on their way in here, a couple more whiteboards for certain areas of the classroom that have yet to still arrive and get installed. But the vast majority of all those bookcases and wardrobes and student tables, desks, and chairs are all where they need to be, and these rooms are looking fantastic. I am reminded, though, of course, the minute we start talking about elementary classrooms, how much stuff they bring in. You can't find the wall because they've got just everything stuffed in there, which is wonderful. Just shows that it's ready to go. The one area that we're still working on that we're going to be a little slow at is our middle school science rooms. And the cabinetry for those rooms is set to arrive here about September 11th. So we didn't quite get that by school opening. Special thank you to Amy Besky and Ted Cohorst, to our 2 middle school science teachers. They've been in here working around it, finding places in a corner of the room to store something, and just kind of planning ahead for their first couple weeks of the school year to try to make sure that they can kind of work around that. They also volunteered, we'll step out of the way and move into the media center for a day if that means my cabinets get in there on that particular day. So they're planning for that as well. And then in relationship to staff that we recently hired that are probably on the agenda here for your approval here later, we did find a person by the name of Sue Risbrut, who is coming in as our new CNA and Health Core Curriculum instructor for us. Program we started last year, being able to actually get certified CNAs here in school during their school time, which is great for some of our students to take advantage of. So she's coming on board, and that's another room that got moved over to Roosevelt for this coming school year, and that room is coming along tremendously. And so she'll be on board. We've also hired a new RTI reading and math para for our 5th and 6th grade students, and that's Carla Swenson. And she's excited about getting back in the school system here to work for us. She's got a couple kids in the district as well. We look to hire Vanessa Burlingame as a para support person for our middle school. This was kind of an addition that was added in relationship to just a busier middle school office and areas of supervision for her, such as bus duty and noon detention and those kind of things. So we're glad to get her on board. And then very excited about a new school counselor that we were able to recruit by the name of Kelsey Lage, I think is how you pronounce it. That sounds right? Okay. Kelsey comes to us with a background from NDSU as one of their academic counselors at that level. So kind of exciting to bring somebody in that's got some real recent experience with the college and university setting and takes a look at college readiness each and every day. But she was recommended to us by one of our, Nate Bailey, one of our present counselors, had a chance to work with her when they were going through their program together. And so we'll never turn down a good recruit. So we're looking forward to having her on board with us. And then Tindy made mention, and Scott, a little bit about numbers, class size numbers and students. So just out of your curiosity, in 5th grade, this is probably our biggest class that's coming through here now for a while. We're right at about 27s across the board in those sections. So we'd be somewhere in that 215 student range out of over 8 different sections there. And in our 6th grade, we have 7 sections at that grade level. Once again, looking at that 26, 27 kind of range for about 189 students at that grade level. So definitely exactly kind of right where projections had that in the need in relationship to the additional sections in 5th and 6th grade. So we're very appreciative of that. And then back to school night. This Wednesday night, we're going to start late afternoon around here if we want to get all those grade levels in. So we're going to start at 4 o'clock for our 5th graders and go on the hour all the way up to 9th graders. So we're going to have 5th grade at 4 o'clock, 6th grade at 5 o'clock, 7th grade at 6 o'clock, 8th grade at 7 o'clock, and invite our 9th graders in. Shane Tilkey and the rest of our assistant principals asked for this, if they could have a specific time frame in the auditorium to talk to our 9th grade and 9th grade parents. And so they asked for that at 8 p.m. We'd invite those folks in to join us for a little while. And then, of course, our high school is invited to come in anytime between 6 and 8 and check out their schedules and check out their classroom locations. The big advantage for showing up on that night for our middle school 7th through 12th graders is they get their schedules that night. So that usually is a pretty good draw to have them come in the door out of curiosity to pick up their schedules on that night. And then we mentioned a little bit about moving and getting all these classrooms prepared. There's two organizations out there I'd like to kind of highlight a little bit. One is Rick Goode's Painting. Many of you are very familiar with Rick, and just a fantastic individual that is literally available whenever we call him. He puts the school high on his list of priorities, and he'll work weekends to get some of these classrooms ready for us. He's doing hallways, offices, classrooms, touch-up work, but it's just fantastic to have an individual like that that's willing to just come in and get things ready and work like crazy in order to get these rooms and office areas looking great. And then secondly, just in relationship to Cooper's Office Supply. That group, once again, has just been fantastic. We get Shauna Shale and Jeff Schaefer again. When we call, they're here probably same day. And we've had to add stuff with about 2 new offices that we need to put together. Classroom furnishings that we can get through those folks. But again, they show up, they measure to make sure that it's going to be right. They'll send us computer drawings of different areas or different possibilities so that we get the right stuff in the right place. So special thank yous goes out to Cooper's Office Supply for their help with us. Our new student management software program, Synergy, has been a definite learning experience over the course of the last month. We could not pull this off without people like Sue Lewis, Kim Dozak, Jana Johnson, those people in the counseling office and tech office. But we got our letters out as of Friday. Letters 5 through 12, inviting folks back to school and indicating 5th and 6th grade their homeroom teacher placement should be arriving today. If not, some of them might have filtered in even on Saturday. But those should be out so that we get those invitations out for Wednesday night. So can't thank those people enough for pulling that all off. And of course, thanks to our entire tech staff and custodial staff for getting the building all set and ready to go. So, questions for me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you. Superintendent Ness.
Yes, our principals covered a lot of the items. I'll just, last week and this week are training weeks. So last week we started out with Dr. Beagle, spoke to close to 100, maybe even more than 100 area educators, social services, church, lots of different people on poverty. And she has a unique perspective that she grew up in poverty and didn't get her degrees till she was 27 or 28 and is moving on and is doing a lot of things. So it's just one of the things that really struck me is people in poverty, what do they think of school is stress. And it's because there's here's my lunch account coming up, here's my money for pictures and new clothes and back. It's stress. So anything we can do to alleviate that is certainly something we should be working on. And then other trainings that we had is our mentor training. We had St. Cloud State University, two staff members come in and train our mentors while our mentees were being trained in this site. So we thank the Service Co-op for allowing us to use their facility. And again, it's all about coaching. They really concentrated on how do you coach that mentee, that new hire. So we're really, Tindy had mentioned that. I really think so far our mentorship program couldn't be going better. Being able to have a lot of the new hires come in on June 5th, get contact information with their mentor, being able to get their curriculum, and then on Wednesday we were able to go through a lot more things on technology and lots of things. And really the most fun we've had is we toured the Fergus Falls. So we were able to go all the way around Fergus Falls, got our picture on top and around the otters, so they were all over that thing. And just being able to be welcomed by the mayor. His whole staff came out of the city hall and welcomed us. Bud Nornis was there, came down, shook all their hands. So I'm hoping they feel very welcomed and excited for them to be here. Mr. Mankey mentioned open house this week. So staff are coming in today for a work day. Tomorrow's the district in-service day, lots of training. Wednesday is our open house day. Thursday for K-6 teachers is everyday math training. And then also we're doing something called Pear Deck, which is a formative assessment, and you'll get a little flavor of that tomorrow at the district meeting. So far, Elaine is still coming to work every day, but we have about 70 new hires. It's been a little daunting. It actually includes 25 new teachers. We met Friday morning. We met Steve and Mark and I met with the playground rep, and things are being adjusted. So some extensions. The concern was it's for younger children. So what they can do on most things that they can do is extend and raise things, so that won't happen by day one, but working on that. The other thing we're working on is moving the swing set, one of the swing sets, and then putting in a bigger rope climber. So we're making sure all that fits, and it was good to work with, but we're going to keep on top of that one to make sure that happens. Mr. Colbeck talked about the road work, the Adams Road work. Key there is the city and the contractor need to work with the school, so we know if we have to load and unload on the south side of school versus the north side. They just need to communicate so we can communicate with our parents in our buses. School board election, so we have two candidates. We have Missy Hermes and Angela Fiedler, and because there's only two, for some reason the ballot doesn't change. If we had many candidates on the agenda, on the ballot, they would rotate the different people, and for some reason they can't do that now. So Angela Fiedler will be first on the ballot, then Missy Hermes, and I think that'll be enough. So
all right.
we'll move on.
Very good. Thank you, Superintendent Olson. We'll move on to our general consent items. We have, for consideration of approval, the school board minutes from our last school board meeting held on August 14th, and also personnel. So I'll have the superintendent.
Yes, a number of items that we hope we are at the end of your resignation. Jennifer Jensen resigned as ABE teacher, but you'll see later we hired her in a different position. But hires, Christine Lawson is the art teacher that you approved earlier, so she'll be in for part-time work there. Carly Kozak is the new kindergarten teacher. Kelsey Lage, the school counselor. Very pleased we were able to find someone at this late date there. And then some resignations. Jennifer Whitted, Title I, but she moved to a different position, so they have to resign from their existing position if they take another position. And then a couple of noon hour supervisors resign. And then here's our hires. Jennifer Whitted, she's moving to student services coordinator. We call that homework help, is what you probably hear that, the more common language. Gina Norlund is a noon hour supervisor. Jennifer Miller, long-term sub for the ECFE. Carla Swanson, RTI tutor. Susan Risbrut, CNA healthcare curriculum instructor. Casey Dukasvich, I'm not sure on that one, special ed para. Amanda Carr Johnson, special ed para. Anna Hintz, piano accompanist. Jennifer Jensen is doing the Title I para. Vanessa Burlingame, the para educator, and Elizabeth Madison, noon hour supervisor. So recommend all of those items.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion on the items? All in favor of approving the general consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that's approved. We have two items of new business. The first is, I am looking for someone to entertain the motion to return the head boys and girls golf coach to this old format where there are separate coaches, effective for the 17-18 school year. Will someone make that motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on it? All in favor of approving that action, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That's approved, and then we'll do one minute detail here, but it's a resolution date correction. We did the resolution on the school board election, and the date just needs slight adjustment, and so is there a motion to correct it to say the November 7th, 2017 school board election for school board member to fill a vacancy should be for a term expiring on January 7th, 2019. Would someone offer that motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion or confusion about what we're doing there?
It's just changed, the original resolution had a January 1 date versus a January 7th date, so we're just correcting that.
All right. All in favor of that action, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That's approved. We shall not forget Otter Pride Night, Friday, September 8th, 2017. Bring your kiddies to the Maroon Gym and have Gold Gym.
Gold Gym.
I think Maroon's the dominant color. Okay, sorry. The Gold Gym, and there's games and fun and rah-rahs, and it's just a great time to have some fun at the school and then hopefully watch football game. And so that's from 5 to 7 at the Gold Gym. I see that on the next page. Okay, our next school board meeting is Monday, September 11th, right here at 5 p.m. No more early morning shifts for this year. And and we will conduct regular business then. We're gonna stick around and talk about the playground and the modifications that are being undertaken there, and then just talk about the update for the school year. So, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on adjournment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Well, we are adjourned. Thank you
I'm
very
gonna
much.
draw a picture of the playground.